Good afternoon. Please don't forget to switch off your mobile phone, please. Thank you. Natalia Caycedo, psychiatrist, president of Sophrology International Academy of Caycedian Sophrology, director Sophrology Institute at Barcelona, Spain. Our institute collaborate with Professor Bulbena, Chair Psychiatry, Autonome University Barcelona. Dear Natalia, welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Mrs. Annelies Brunhau, President of the Federation of European Scleroderma Association, and the organizing committee to having invited us to participate in this Congress. Last year, Mrs. Dominique Godard, President of the French Scleroderma Association, and Mrs. Martine Torrent, sophrologist, visited us in Barcelona to invite us to participate in this Congress. I knew Martine Torrent 5 years before because she came to Barcelona to follow the formation in sophrology with us. What I didn't know is that Martine had Scleroderma. Martine worked hard and she changed her life. Now we are here together to speak about the effects of Scleroderma with training of sophrology. It's for me a pleasure and an honor to be here with you speaking about the benefits of the sophrology in this illness. Let me to present myself. I am Natalia Caycedo. I am medical doctor. I am psychiatrist. My father is Alfonso Caycedo. He is the creator of the sophrology. And I am president of Sophrology, the International Academy of Sophrology, which has more than 5,000 persons trained in sophrology. We have more than 1,000 active members, sophrologists, and about 750 students in the different phases on the sophrology formation. We are going to introduce now Martine Torrent, and we are going to speak together in this hour. We want to give together some theoretical basis about sophrology and also her testimony about how sophrology has transformed her life. So we are going now to listen Martine Torrent.
Martine Torrent has been a sophrologist suffering from systemic scleroderma for more than 10 years. She is 51 years old. She is married, has a daughter. She works in France. She specializes in systemic scleroderma and associated autoimmune disease. She has set up protocols adapted to the disease and is involved in the French Scleroderma Association by organizing annual workshop of sophrology adapted to scleroderma. Being the only sclerodermic sophrologist in France, in Spain, Belgium, and Switzerland, she also trains other sophrologists to accompany patients in the natural and adapted way.
Hello and welcome to all. My name is Martine Torrent. I'm suffering from systemic scleroderma, Scleroderma, and I am also a sophrologist specializing in scleroderma and autoimmune diseases associated. I'm here to share my experience and explain how sophrology changed my life. It changed my life in a both radical and positive way that gave sense to my existence at a moment where I wasn't believing in anything anymore. For more than 15 years, I experienced misdiagnosis, and then in 2010, doctors diagnosed a systemic scleroderma, Scleroderma, together with a Gujeau-Schwarren dry syndrome and Raynaud's disease. I remember how I felt relieved at the time of diagnosis. Finally, they found something. It wasn't just in my head or nervous. But this relief didn't last long, as the doctor told me more about the disease. As my health condition was degrading, my international medicine professor offered to try sophrology. But what is sophrology? I didn't have any idea, but I was certain that I wanted to do something, as I couldn't bear this situation anymore. To explain in more detail, how sophrology changed my life, I will tell you a story from George Bucay's book, The Chained Elephant. Once upon a time, in a circus, a magnificent, sturdy, and powerful elephant always remained attached to a small stake in the ground, more precisely to a tiny piece of wood pushed a few centimeters in the ground. And then, if the chain was thick and resistant, it seemed obvious that an animal which can approach a tree should be able to easily free itself and go away. What a mystery! But everything was pointing the same way. The elephant did not escape because he had been tied to a stake from its earliest stage. He had tried to free himself, but despite his efforts, he never achieved it and resigned to his fate. In fact, he thought he was unable to succeed in freeing himself and never hoped to be able to do so. So, like the elephant, how many of us feel unable to cope with disease? How many of us have said, I will never make it? How many times have negative thoughts prevented us from getting involved in actions that will give us well-being and satisfaction? If I'll tell you this story, this is to help you understand that sophrology can help you to remove these chains, regaining freedom, and have a better life. You remove the idea that you are powerless faced with disease, and that if you re-evaluate your opinions, you can find a more comfortable life. The disease had knocked me down. I had the choice between resigning and getting back up.
With this beautiful introduction, let me explain a little bit the history of sophrology. We are in the year 1960 in Madrid, Spain. My father was a young psychiatrist, and as you can imagine, in that time, the psychiatry, the treatment for the patients was very precarious. He had to apply more or less 30 electroshocks per day. They were in other kind of therapies like psychoanalysis, hypnosis, psychotherapy, a little bit medication. And he began to think that it could be another kind of treatment, different than the treatment that was in that time. So he decided to create a new science, and he created also the name. He looked for 3 Greek words, sos, which mean equilibrium, balance, friends, which mean consciousness, and logos, which means study. So, with this name, he began to create this new science, the study of the consciousness in balance. So, Caycedo sophrology is a method used in personal training. It helps to develop a balanced consciousness. We will see that this training is based on relaxation techniques, but it is not only relaxation techniques, but also exercise of the body and the mind. We will practice today 2 different techniques to experience in ourselves what is sophrology. What is the Caycedo method? It consists on 12 degrees, more than 60 different techniques, and there are a lot of different techniques because everyone can adapt to each person, to each patient. It depends on the different need that the patient have. We will see now the different adaptations. We are going to focus our attention in this graphic because what we are going to do with the practice in sophrology is to learn to have a relationship with us. We are going to learn to meet ourselves in different ways. This is a very structured way to meet each other. We will begin to meet our body, to feel our body. Afterwards, we are going to meet our mind and to know better our mind. We are going also to meet our emotions, to know more our emotions. And we are also going to be more conscious of our values. So, this is the most important structure from the Caycedo method, to learn to meet ourselves in a structured way. Let's begin with our body. When we speak about meeting with our body, I can imagine that it is easy to meet or to have a relationship with our body if we are not having any problem. But when we are having problems because of the illness that you know, every different symptom that you can have, so the Raynaud syndrome, the dry syndrome, the different digestive problems, or the pain, the insomnia, the tiredness, even the body rejection, that is normal because of suffering this illness. We can think that meeting the body is not nice, but in sophrology we say the things can be otherwise. Let's listen Martine about her experience on meeting with her body.
Thank you, Natalia. As you all know, the disease causes to suffer significant physical damage. In 2010, my level of activity was drastically reduced. I suspended my professional activity. I lost 18 kilograms in few weeks. I was in bed all day and I was on a drip. Strong and permanent pain and fatigue were part of my daily life. It was a hellish experience because I couldn't support morphine and opiates proposed by the PET center. Thanks to sophrology, I felt the physical benefits very quickly. My pain, in general, muscular, articular, fibromyalgia, has improved considerably in a few days practicing daily specific sophrology techniques. Sophrology taught me how to deal with pain. Then, the dryness was reduced by 50%, and I found energy that allowed me to regain hope. But the most beautiful result was to abandon the drip and my diet based on nutritional supplements to gradually move to a more adapted diet. Sophrology session, carried out before each meal, allowed me to relieve the pains of esophagus and thus to eat. Relaxation and stress management have also allowed me to improve the dry syndrome. Natalia, continue. Thank you.
Thank you. So, with the practice of sophrology, we can learn to rest, to manage the pain, to sleep better, to learn to eat differently, to recover energy, and also to have this relationship with our body. In sophrology, we say it's better one experience than 1,000 words. So what we are going to do is just to experience sophrology. How are we going to do that? Just like we are. It is not necessary just to change the posture or just to change the clothes. We are just keeping the normal light. We are not going to give special music of perfumes. Just so. You can see that now we are doing the sophrology in the big group. We can also just doing the techniques on our own. The most important is just to begin to learn to have this relationship with ourselves, to meet with self. How are we going to practice this technique? I will first just explain how we are going to do, and after we are going to do the technique together. Just sitting in a comfortable position, we are going to loosen our ties, our belts, to ameliorate our circulation and our breathing. And we are going to focus our attention in our body, beginning for the head until the feet, part for part. The importance of this technique is just to flow. Don't try to do it too well. Tomorrow, Martin will guide also different techniques in the different workshops in French. I will also guide in Spanish. So the repetition makes also you to feel a little bit more your body. Now we are going just to flow and to try to really feel more ourselves. We are going to address our attention in our breathing. When we are going to inhalate, we are just letting the belly to raise, and we are going to breathe out. We are going to let the belly to go in the initial position. After, we are going to feel several moments where we find a feeling of peace, calm, serenity in ourselves. And it is important to learn that these feelings are in ourselves. We are going to discover moments that with the practice will become more and more frequent in our life. After ending this practice, we are going to finishing activating 3 positive qualities of our personality. The self-esteem, first. The second is the balance between our body and our mind. And the third is a positive attitude towards our future. And in the end, we are going to stretch everyone just with our just way of doing. And in the end, we are going to open our eyes. So I will invite you to practice this technique. I will guide in English, and Martine will guide in French for the French people, because we know that for guiding the technique is necessary to be sophrologist, and apologize the translator, but it's better than Martine will guide in French. So the French people will change the channel for the number 4 to listen the technique in French, and so the English-speaking persons will listen the technique just like we are now doing. So we are going to prepare ourselves for making the practice of this basis sophrology technique. What I said is that it's important to sit in a comfortable chair, and with this comfortable position, we begin closing our eyes. We focus on our head. We relax our forehead, eyelids, our cheeks, our lips, tongue, and jaws. Little by little, we relax a little bit more the muscles of our face and head. We focus on our neck and shoulders. With every breath we take, we relax a little bit more the muscles of our neck and shoulders. They are important moments for our brain. In sophrology, we say, take care of your brain, and it will take care of you. And feel a nice feeling of calmness, of well-being. We focus on our arms, hands, and fingers. With every breath we take, we relax a little bit more our arms and fingers. Feeling of well-being. We focus on our chest and back. We are aware and we
we feel the presence of the upper half of our body. Feel the contact of our back with the chair, and we relax a little bit more the muscles of the upper part of our body, little by little. We focus on the belly. We relax our belly. Try to perceive positive sensation in the region of our belly. We feel the rhythm of our breathing. We are becoming aware of the rhythm of our respiration. Every time we breathe in, we can feel how our belly rises. And when we breathe out, the belly returns to its original state. We respect our natural rhythm without forcing. With every breath we take, feeling of calmness. Focus on the lower half of our body. We relax our buttocks, hips, legs, and feet. We feel the presence of the floor. And we become aware of our body. We try to relax every single part, from the head until our feet. And with every breath we take, we relax a little bit more. Feeling of inner peace and calmness throughout our body. Moments of well-being, happiness in our mind. I feel good about myself. We are going to try that these positive feelings persist in ourselves during the rest of the day. And with these feelings of well-being on our body, on our mind, we are going to prepare to finish this session. Before ending, in sophrology, we like to remind 3 important qualities of our well-being. First, the importance of our healthy and strong self-esteem. Second, good balance between our body and mind. And third, the positive attitude towards our future. Now, we are going to activate us, breathing deeply several times, moving the toes, the fingers, the face. We move our legs, our arms, and we stretch our body slowly at the beginning, then with a little bit more intensity. We will take all the time necessary for a complete recovery. And when we want, we can open our eyes. Now, what we are going to do is just to give us 1 minute to write down our experience. It's important just to translate into words the experience we have had. So if you want, we can take our paper and just write down the most important feelings that we have perceived throughout this technique. So 1 minute to write down our experience. The persons who had the channel 4 can switch again to the channel 1 to have this translator in French. 1 minute to write down the experience, and after we will continue. If you don't have paper, you can speak with the person next to you and just to share your experience. I think it's nice and it's important to share and to be aware of the experience. So 1 minute to share with the person next to you.
We are going to continue, and we are going to follow the Caycedo method. We have experienced our body, but it is interesting to continue with our mind. Also, the important is to have a relationship with ourselves and to know more ourselves, to know our thoughts, to know what is happening in our mind. It is also normal to have conscience over what happens when you had the diagnostic of scleroderma. And it is normal to have feelings of things about worry, also refusal, or also discouragement. There are normal things that happen in your mind. But what we are saying in sophrology is that it is also possible just to have conscience of our mind and to be subject of our thoughts. Let's listen now, Martine, what she says about her experience.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, positive mind is essential to deal with a disease. You have to understand something very important. The human being is a unit. You are not a body on one side and the head on the other. When you suffer in your body, you also suffer in your head and vice versa. On the other hand, when one is well, this property affects whole person. Thereto, sophrology guides us to be in harmony with whole body, but also with your head. Thanks to sophrology, I was able to find a balance between me and the disease. So I could accept the disease without resigning myself, staying stuck. In the past, I would not have changed the diagnosis. I have no joker, otherwise I would have used it. Sophrology has allowed me to discover the person I have become and to delight me in my abilities that I did not know. It made me realize essential things. It enabled me let go, to manage the stress, to disconnect from the disease, to make projects, to relearn the pleasure of the simple things of life, and to grieve without frustration of what I could no longer do. It helped me to develop a serenity in relation to the looks and thoughts of others and accept at the same time their help. Natalie, continue.
After speaking about body, mind, it is necessary just to focus that we are a unit where our emotions are also involved on all the experience we have. When we had also the diagnostic and throughout the life, it is important also to be conscious that it is normal to have fear. It is normal also to be sad, anger, to have frustration, of even anxiety. When we speak about just guiding our emotions in a positive way, we can imagine that it is not possible in that moment. But it is really possible. We are going to listen, Martine.
Yes, it's totally possible. Indeed, for everyone, managing the emotion, it's not easy. But when you are afflicted with a disease like ours, the situation is even more complicated because the disease isolates us and imprisons us. Also, sophrology taught me how to manage my emotions by passing the 5 usual steps more easily: the shock of diagnosis, the rejection, the hunger, the sadness coming out of the depression into which I was sinking. It has awakened in me emotions and positive feelings simply by changing my attitude towards negative emotions such as fear, hunger, anxiety, to return them into positive energies. Use them to advance safely in my new existence. Learn to push the limits imposed by the disease, to be more selective, stronger, and allow me to know what I want and especially what I do not want. I could have chosen to lock myself up like some in a world of hatred and denial of hunger, but that just wasn't me. And the disease would not have taught me anything. What a waste. Natalie, continue.
Our body, our mind, and our emotions are firmly based in our values. The illness is also an opportunity to grow in patience, in acceptance, in faith, in hope. But also it's normal that sometimes when we feel bad, we can also feel that we are not precious or that we don't have dignity. Let's see how, with also making the practice, we can also find ourselves in our values. We listen, Martine.
Indeed, the practice of sophrology will allow to regain freedom and to set up a balance between oneself and the disease. When one feels physically better, mentally and emotionally stronger, then one regains self-confidence and ability. As I explained you, sophrology guided me to discover not only new abilities that I completely ignored. The disease had destabilized me, weakened me. I had lost the landmarks that had guided me since I was born. I had to suspend my professional activity. I had lost my autonomy. I felt charmed. I felt useless, a burden for society, unable to fulfill my role as wife and mother. I didn't believe in myself or in my values anymore. What I felt, some of you felt it too. And then had the opportunity to meet and be the privileged people of a daughter, Natalia Caycedo. She taught me and passed on the passion for Caycedian sophrology. In addition to an autoimmune disease, I had just been diagnosed with the Sophromania virus. But this virus has positively transformed my life. Sophrology allowed me to become an actor in my own existence and no longer object of a disease, and take up the control of my life again. Everything was not lost. I was still able to do things and develop new capacities. I found hope, my freedom, my autonomy, my dignity. It has taken determination. Well, practicing sophrology techniques every day, an ambition to get to this kind of comfort, but it was the only solution to break my chain and regain my freedom. You always have to have ambition in the life, and when you succeed, you have to put that ambition at the service of others. That is why, seeing the metamorphosis that sophrology had on me, I wanted to become a sophrologist to help you and helping other sick people live better and make sense of their lives. I can't thank the illness for making change, but it would have been a pity if I had systemic scleroderma, found a solution and didn't share it with you. Natalia.
We have listened the beautiful testimony of Martine. Also, in the normal life, most of you and we, it is normal to have different exams, medical exams, like blood analysis or tomographies or bronchoscopia. In that moment, sophrology is also useful. You can use the techniques before, used to prepare, or during the intervention to be calm, or after the intervention to rest and to have more energy afterwards. We are going to listen the experience of Martine.
The complexity and severity of a disease regularly leads to imprisoned medical examination. To date, the specific techniques of sophrology allow me to prepare the medical exams without stress, manometry, MRI, and to do the prescopies without anesthesia. Never local, no generals, and dental care without anesthesia. Natalia, continue.
So, as we can see, the Caycedo method can help you in this complementary treatment with the medical treatment. It is known that you can use that as a complementary treatment. The importance of the experience, what you see, is the experience itself, the repetition, because not only with one practice is enough, but with the repetition of the technique, you can just get the different results, and you can also adapt itself. Now we have made the technique just sitting here, but you can also do in a patient room, you can do also in different ways of the normal life. We are going to practice now another technique.
As we have done before, the persons who want to listen this technique in French just can switch the channel in the number 4, and we will continue. Explain in what consists this technique. This is a futurization. It is a name used by my father to explain that we can imagine after practice of the basis of sophronization, we can imagine one situation in our future. It can be tomorrow, or over 1 week, or over 1 month, or several months when we want. And what we're going to do is just to imagine how we would like to be in the realistic way, in a place that we like, that can be at home or just with friends, with our family, just having a positive moment. And in this moment, we are going just to be aware, to be conscious of ourselves, how I am with my body, how I feel my thoughts, how I feel my emotions, how I will like to have my positive emotions. Because one of the characteristics of sophrology is just to try to develop in ourselves the positive emotions, and also to be aware of our values, how I feel with my dignity, with my freedom. So it is not only necessary just to think about it, but when we are making the technique, we are trying to feel it. We are going so to prepare to practice this technique as we have done before. We are going to sit in a comfortable position, and we are going to close our eyes. And we focus our attention in our face and head. We relax the muscles of our face, the forehead, the eyes. We focus our attention on our neck and shoulders. With every breath we take, we relax a little bit more our neck and shoulders. We become aware of our arms, our hands. nice feeling of well-being. Focus our attention on our chest, our back. And we are aware of our respiration. Every time we breathe in, we can feel how our belly rises. And when we breathe out, our belly returns into original state without forcing. With every breath we take, we relax a little bit more. We focus on the lower half of our body, and we relax our buttocks, hips, legs, the feet, the toes. We are becoming aware of our body. And now we are going to imagine a positive situation in our future. This moment can be within a week, a month, or several months. We imagine ourselves in a place that we like, in the company of our family or friends, or just on our own. And in that moment, we become aware of ourselves. We feel our body. Our thoughts are calm, serene. We are aware of our feelings. Feeling of well-being, peace, happiness. We try to feel the sensation of well-being as if we really are there in this positive moment. We try to feel the joy, the well-being. I feel good about myself, with all my values, with my dignity. We are developing our capacity to feel good about ourselves. And now, we are going to keep on these positive feelings in ourselves during the rest of the day. And with these feelings of well-being in our body, in our mind, we are going to prepare us to finish this session. We like to remind these three qualities of our well-being. First, the importance of a healthy and strong self-esteem. Second, a good balance between our body and mind. And third, the positive attitude towards our future. Now, we're going to activate us, breathing deeply several times, moving the toes, the fingers, the face. We move the legs, our arms, and we stretch our body slowly at the beginning, then more intensely. We take the time necessary for a complete recovery, and when we want, we can open our eyes. Good evening, everyone. Do we have everyone the eyes open? So it is important to now take a minute to also share this experience. How did we feel? How was our experience with imagining in the future? We can share with a person which is near us for 1 minute. How was our experience?
After this experience, we are going to give some words as conclusion. We're listening, Martin.
As a result of my testimony, I wish I could be an example for you by showing that you can live in harmony and balance with a disease while experiencing a real comfort of life. As you may have understood, sophrology put the smile back on my face, restored hope, energy, well-being, given me my freedom, my autonomy, and my dignity, but also energy, a profound well-being, a different look and attitude toward our disease. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. When I look at my past, I have never remorse, no regrets. Despite the illness, I feel stronger and more determined than before. You see, the disease did not succeed nor to isolate me, or to take my smile. I would be delighted to introduce to help you and experience the benefits of sophrology. I will be happy to welcome you at the workshops tomorrow at 11 o'clock in Spanish and at noon in French. Sophrology is traditional medicine, additional therapies. It's one of the tomorrow's therapies. So, have a try sophrology. Sophrology is a remarkable solution. It changed my life. It can also change yours. Yes. I would just like to thank the president of the FESCA Local Organization Committee, and Mrs. Dominique Godard, the president of the French Scleroderma Association, for allowing us to present sophrology at the World Congress of Systemic Sclerosis for the first time. Thanks to the sound technicians, engineers, to your help. I also thank Dr. Natalia Caycedo for the honor she has given me for agreeing to host this presentation together and to be able to share with you this moment of well-being and hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.